Welcome to West Coast Gridiron, the home of high school football on the left side of the map, where Friday nights means everything and the next generation of stars is built under the lights. This isn't just scores and stats. This is about identity, toughness, and the grind it takes to earn respect. I'm your host, Coach Freeman, and whether you're a coach, player, parent, or just a fan of the game, this is your front row seat to the future of football. And on today's pod, we are talking about something that I've always found a little bit interesting, and some people are a little confused, and I'm going to try and clear the air here. But we're going to dive into one of the most misunderstood areas of offensive football, the difference between Veer triple option, play action, and run pass option, or as everyone else knows, RPO. Now, on the surface, sometimes these can look very similar, especially to younger players, parents, or even inexperienced coaches. But in reality, they are completely different concepts built on different philosophies, and they stress the defenses in very different ways. If you're installing an offense, calling plays on Friday nights, or just trying to evolve your system, understand these differences are very critical. By the end of this episode, you're going to be able to clearly define each concept, understand how they function structurally, know when and why to call them, and most importantly, coach them effectively at the high school level. Let's get into it. Let's jump in right now. So, before we break each one down, let's take a step back here. All three concepts, veer option, play action, and RPO, are designed to do one thing. They're designed to put defenders in some sort of conflict, but all three of them do it in different ways. So just keep that in mind here. Your veer triple option is going to force defenders to defend multiple ball carriers in real time. Play action is going to use deception to manipulate the defenders after a fake, and your RPO puts a specific defender in a bind with a post-snap read. Think of it very simple like this. Veer equals assignment football, play action equals deception football, and RPO equals conflict football. Now, let's take a step into it and let's break each one down individually. Veer triple option. Let's start with that. The most old school, but still incredibly effective system, no matter how you run it or how you try to take a look at it. So the core idea behind it is the veer triple option is a run first concept where the quarterback reads defenders to decide who carries the ball. It's called triple option because there are three potential ball carriers. So you got your fullback, you got your quarterback, you got your pitchback. So, for example, as far as just a simple look into it, if you're running it out of a spread look, which again, everyone sees spread nowadays. So what you're going to see is something similar, maybe at a split back, maybe they motion a guy, whatever that may be. But you're going to have two reads. You're going to have a read number one, read number two. So depending on what that defensive end does, you're going to have all your blockers blocking down. They're all going to leave this one guy alone. And then your quarterback's going to have to make a choice. Either he's going to hand it. Now, I know I have him labeled as T, but, he could be fullback, whatever you want to call him. So during this time, this is what we call the mesh. And at this time, this defensive end has two choices. He can either barrel down towards the tailback, or he can come up and defend the quarterback. And that's what the quarterback's reading. So if he dives down inside to try and pick up the tailback and make a tackle, that's when your quarterback is going to pull it and he's going to make his next read. Now, depending on what kind of formation you're in, you can be in a spread. This is kind of what everybody sees nowadays and refers to as an RPO, but you're going to get something that looks kind of like this. This is the modern day veer. That's why I say modern day. So after he pulls it, so we say the defensive end dives down hard inside here. He pulls it. Now his next read goes to here. If he widens with the bubble, quarterback's going to keep it. If he dives down to attack the quarterback, then he's going to do a little quick throw out or pitch. So, and again, usually the first defender is a defensive end. If he crashes, QB pulls and keeps. If he stays wide, QB is going to give to tailback, fullback, however you want to designate it. So that's one way you can get to it. Then as he goes on to the second defender, so this is his dive read. This is his pitch read. So he comes upfield hard, hand off the dive. He dives down inside, keep it, and then read for your pitch guy. Pitch guy attacks quarterback, pitch it, or in this case, it's a quick throw to your slot receiver. Now, again, earlier ways you could do this. You could do this out of any different kind of formation you want to do it out of. You can do it out of that split look where it looks more like this. Because again, now you can still have the same pitch look where he comes out and about. Sorry, weird huddle thing there. So he comes out this way, and now you guys still have the same pitch look, and he could actually bluff and move on to safety or help with the corner or anything like that. You can do it out of that look. You can do it out of a true under center formation, like a tight end kind of formation. So you can have it almost like a wing look here and do the same thing where now he's opening up tailback's coming down for the dive, and you can bring the Z around in a motion if you want. So you can bring him around in a motion look and still have the same read. You can run it out of a double wing look if you would like. Again, you can run it out of any formation you want as long as you develop the idea of who's my pitch, who's my dive, who's the dive read, who's the pitch read. As long as you can delineate that and as long as your players can identify that, you'll be fine. So whoever's the dive, you got to understand who the dive is, and then you got to understand who the pitch is because that's going to tell him where to go. So he's going to essentially, if you're going to run it out of a double wing look, he's going to arc release, either go to middle backer, go to safety, whether you put him in motion or not. You can motion him behind. And then again, like I said, have him go out and attack. And then if this D end comes down, dives hard inside, well, now you got and moving on to a pitch read onto your strong safety. And again, you can run it out of that look. You can run it out of double tight end look. Again, it's all dependent on what you want to play with and what formation. Because if you go double tight, same thing. Now you're just gonna have a double team here. You can even motion this guy. You go double tight wing, do the same thing out of that. You could do almost out of the wing T look, almost out of a borderline wing T look. You can have something like this. Again, same thing. You can play with any of these different formations you want. You can have him out here, have him to that side, and then now you still have the same look here. The only difference is your quarterback's going to have to open up, and you still have the dive key here, and then you still have the pitch read coming around. So you can still have that look as well, leaving the end open. And now the defense has to make a choice because now you got a 3-man service plus 2 receivers. So they got to overshift, and then you can still have the read with the pitch key. So again, a lot of different formations, a lot of different ways you can do it. But as far as the philosophy goes, this is assignment football at its finest. Every defender must do their job, stay disciplined, not guess, because if they guess, they're wrong and it's a big play. So again, he dives down hard inside. If these guys all get washed down and it's a one-on-one here, then I mean, he makes the wrong decision. He goes. Now, what most teams are going to be taught nowadays, are going to be taught to kind of feather QB to the tailback. So what does feathering mean? So as the quarterback bails out and as he comes across, he's going to kind of play the middle. He's going to play quarterback a little bit, try to see if he'll force him to pitch, but essentially he's going to slow play it to give the safety time and the corner time to come down and help. So he's going to try and force a decision from the quarterback and then feather back to help with pitch guys. So again, he's trying to slow the game down and slow that play down so that way the safety and the corner can come help. So that's what basically is what's called feathering, is he's going to play one and then basically side shuffle to the other. So that's what a lot of teams are taught now. It's kind of the same thing you see from the defensive ends at when they try to do the triple option piece now. You'll see them do what's called surfing, basically, is he's going to come up and sit and kind of side shuffle. So then that way, if the quarterback does pull it, he has the ability to jump back outside or he can stay down far inside. So defensives are getting smarter at defending it. But again, you add motion to it, you add some shifts to it, which we talked about in our previous episode. When you start adding things to it, it can open up the door a little bit more. So again, it's assignment football. If they're wrong, you're going to get a big play. But you got to be able to understand it's assignment football. You got to make sure who's your dive read and who's your pitch key. Basic high school coaching points. You don't need elite talent. That's the one thing nice about this. You just need discipline and reps. So you could have undersized linemen, an undersized QB, an athletic QB, a non-athletic QB. Like you don't need the best of the best or the cream of the crop. You just need disciplined athletes that you can go through all this daily, every day. That's your mesh drill. It's dive, pitch, dive, pull, pitch. QB decision making is everything. So you got to make sure the QB gets his reads each and every day, has a chance where he's spending a chunk of time just working, reading that D end, reading that outside backer, D end, outside backer, D end, outside backer every single day. So he gets used to where it becomes second nature to him. And then offensive line doesn't need to dominate. They don't need to create a new line of scrimmage. They just need angles and consistency. If they're able to get double teams, like you see on the picture here, if they're able to create their double teams and just push them a little bit and get in the way, I mean, this could just literally be like a little skip, pop, and then move to where this right tackle doesn't need to do too much, just pop and go and make sure that right guard has enough of that defensive tackle so then that way he can't get over and make any kind of penetration or problems for the play. So they don't need to be behemoths and push everybody around. Common mistakes with the Veer is QBs trying to predetermine, oh, I'm going to pull it or I'm going to keep it, or sorry, I'm going to pull it or I'm going to give it. Like he tries to predetermine the read based on maybe the leverage of the end. Poor mesh timing. Maybe by the time he's back here and the timing's just not right, tailback takes a wrong step, or the QB doesn't open up quite right, whatever, just poor mesh typing, and then not committing fully to the system as far as maybe the coach is kind of half in, half out, like, hey, this looks pretty cool on Saturdays and Sundays. I'm going to try and steal it and use it. But I really like to just spread, go four wide and do spread offense and do air raid and da 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 da. Which again is fine. Nothing against air raid. Air raid's another great system. It will cover that in a future video. But it's one of those things where you have to be fully committed to that system. You can build off of it, but you got to be fully committed because they got to get enough reps with this read and this read here. Otherwise, if you're not committed to it, it's not going to work all the time. He's going to make poor decisions. He's going to make poor footwork, and they're going to just murky up this read system here. So when's a prime time to use it? An undersized team versus bigger opponents, you can take advantage of defensive ends that like to get upfield or wash down low. So again, what do they like to do and how can you take advantage of it? There is limited passing ability out of it. Again, at the same time, it's one of those things you can throw out of it if you're able to build and you have an athletic quarterback, you can throw it to a slot or throw it to a number one. So Veer, you're going to want to control the clock and control the tempo. So you can run it as a NASCAR play where you just keep going and going and going, or you can muddle huddle and get a quick snap. A lot of teams do that where they'll do a muddle huddle back here, about 3 yards back, jump up, snap it and go. So you can use it many different ways to control the clock, to control tempo, and to control a team again. Veer, great play, near unstoppable when run correctly, just takes a lot of time with this backfield, with this mesh. And then ultimately, again, it takes a lot of time because how do you want to use it? Like I said, you could do it at any formation as long as you have the premise of you have a dive read and a pitch read. Your creativity is your limitation. Wherever you want to, however you want to motion it, shift to it, unbalance it, any kind of things you can imagine you can play with to try and get any kind of Veer look out of this that you want. So that's kind of the fun part about it, is it has a lot of room for creativity, or you could run it at the basic level where you have a fullback and a tailback and you're running old school dive to pitch. I mean, you can run it out of the eye, you could run it out of split, you can run it out of bone, you could run it out of whatever you really want. Again, that's kind of the nice part about it. Run it out of a flex bone if you want. You can run it out of any system you want. Just it's your imagination. That's what's going to limit you. So now let's shift gears a little bit from Veer and let's talk play action. Play action is not an option concept. It's a deception-based passing concept. So what does that ultimately mean? You fake a run to pull backers forward, free safeties, create space behind them, and then you throw the ball. So you're going to try and do any kind of, it could be any run play you want. Again, when you're pulling guys, if you're doing play action and you're pulling, you're going to have to keep in mind how you're going to keep your quarterback safe, but we'll get to that. So how does it ultimately work? Offensive line is going to sell run. They're going to sell run hard. QB fakes the handoff and receivers run routes behind the defense. And again, the key point, the QB is not reading a defender post snap like option football. The decision is made before the snap. So for example, as an offensive coordinator, we might be looking in the box and we're running our inside zone play, right? So we just keep running inside zone and we're just running, and we're noticing that this guy is starting to cheat. These two backers are starting to cheat hard. Like he's really overcommitting when he sees that and he's coming down hard inside. Well, now we're going to hit him with play action and we might be, hey, play action, run a slant route behind the two of them. So quarterback's going to fake the handoff here and then pull it and throw to the slant behind him. We're using the movement of the defense to create an open area to pass to and using our run game to get them where we want. So we're using the run game to deceive the defense and get our receivers open. Why does it work? Defenses are trained to read run keys. Again, if you can do this with a pulling guard, again, the trick with that is you got to account for what you're doing with the defensive end. So maybe you're going to motion him across. Maybe you're going to try and keep him there and block him. But again, if you kind of do a different formation, you might get a different look from the defense. So you want to kind of try and keep a similar look to whatever was getting them to come down and getting them to vacate their passing zone So then that way you can keep that look and get that same open area for your receivers. So, and again, you can do it with safeties. You can do it with the linebackers. Again, if you're seeing a safety is biting down hard and you're running, let's just say you're running counter, you're running GT counter here, and you're just pulling and wrapping, and you're noticing that this safety is coming down hard to fit in the gap. You can run a post concept. So again, same thing. You can run like a skinny post to fill behind him. Some people call it a glance route. Some people call it, a post, whatever you want to call it, but you can run something to fill in behind. Again, same thing what we talked about with the Veer. Your imagination is your limitation. It's all about finding the numbers in the grass based on what the defense is reacting to. So, high school coaching points, your run game must be believable. If these guys hi hat, it's not going to sell. QB must sell the fake. If the QB just drops back, there's no fake, there's nothing there. And then routes need to attack the vacated zones. Common mistakes, you're going to get a bad fake, no deception whatsoever. Linemen drifting into pass sets too early and calling it without establishing the run. Like if you have only run the ball 3 times in the first quarter and you're like, let's get them a play action, they're not gonna bite on it. So you got to establish your run game, get these linebackers coming down, get them adjusting, get the safeties rolling down. So then that way you can create a vacated zone. Again, a lot of teams in high school are going to read guards. So that's why pulling can help a lot of the time, because if you pull and these backers are taught to read pulling guards, well, now he's going to pull and he's going to follow that pulling guard and that vacates that zone. So again, a lot of times for us and what I've seen as an OC, when we're running the ball hard, we get something like this. We get a little 4-4 look. And then who's the guy that's really going to mess everything up? Especially on this side, it's going to be him. So we're going to watch him a lot. And if he starts coming down hard or starts vacating his zone, like we might run just a little stick concept, just something super easy, super rare, where we're just here. If he bails inside, and if we're saying, hey, throw the black, or throw the hitch, throw the stick, and we run our normal inside zone, and he comes down hard to help, boom, we're throwing the stick route behind him. It's not a read, it's a deception. We're telling them, hey, we're running the stick concept. Throw it after you do the ball fake because it'll be there. We're not telling them to read him. The quarterback's not reading this guy. We're going to get to that here in a second. Again, play action is about creating a vacated zone. So you're going to use it after successful run plays or a run session against aggressive linebackers and on early downs. 1st and 10 is big, and it was big for us. 1st and 2nd down was big, especially, say, for example, if we got a good 1st down run later on and like late in the 1st, early in the 2nd quarter, we would come back with a play action, because it's like if we only have 2nd down and 4 or 2nd down and 5 or 2nd down and 3, we can run or throw it. So, and the defense isn't going to know what we're doing, whether we're running or throwing either. So it works out perfect to call a play action because they have to defend everything. So if it's 2nd down and 3, these backers are like, well, they just ran the ball for 7 yards. They're probably going to run the ball again. We run it again, and then we call a play action and attack them. Big one for us at the high school level last year was our double slant. Our double slant killed a lot of the time on our play action because we played a lot of teams where their corners played off a lot. And then all we looked out for was these 2 guys right here. And if we saw that they were coming down hard on our run game, whether we were running zone or counter, then we brought the double slant. So literally it was a 3-step slant here and then a 5-step slant. Sorry. So we had a 5-step slant here, or 3-step slant here. 3-step slant, and then like a 5-step slant there. So it made it real simple, real easy to where it was like, hey, these 2 guys are bailing down hard. We're calling red because these 2 backers are cheating like a son of a gun. You're going to have a window here and a window there. Like as soon as you pull it, find that first window and throw. So, and if that window's closed, go to the second window, which more often than not, this one was always open to some degree. And whether or not we completed it, that's a different story. But this one was a very high percentage throw for us. Worked very well because, again, these teams really liked to dip down hard, especially as we ran the ball well into the late 1st, early 2nd quarter. We're running our Zeer, what I call it, our Zeer play, which is like zone on the front side, Veer on the back side, where we have the triple option piece. And then we would just base it. So instead of running everybody, he would base to the back side. And then, again, everyone would base backside. We'd have a double team here, and we're out there. And these 2 are looking here. And then all we're doing is we just looked at these two. We knew they were coming hard. So he bailed down inside. He came down because they thought we were going to run our triple option game. And then we just threw it right behind him. So play action worked really, really well for us a lot of time. Again, it was a nice change up because, again, it alleviates decision making for the quarterback. He doesn't have to do any reads. He knows, hey, they're telling me to run slant, which means these backers are coming down. If we were running stick, version of stick play, then that's telling him that the outside backer is vacating and the stick route's there. If we're running a post route, that tells him the safety's coming down. So by us calling the specific pass concept, it tells your quarterback where he's looking and what's vacating. And it's the same thing for when we get into RPO, the tailback will also learn, well, if he pulled it, that means the guy vacated and wasn't there. So again, it's one of those things where everyone's got to know everything as far as why we're attacking it, what's the point of attacking it, and what's vacating and what's there. So play action, it's a good changeup, good on early downs. And again, you just got to understand what your concept is attacking. If you don't know what your concept's attacking, then you're just kind of randomly throwing darts at a board and, hoping. Like, if you're going to try and throw 4 verts, well, why are you throwing 4 verts? What are you trying to vacate out of that? Again, if you're running the ball consistently well, what 2 backers or what safety, because again, depending on what front you're getting, like we're using this out of a basic 4-3, but if you have even this kind of look and it's a 5-man box technically, then what are you going to attack? Because right now they have 3/2 and 3/2. So are you going to attack play action? I mean, middle of the field looks really nice. Is somebody dropping down when you run? Is he coming down hard? Because then you can run a seam or a skinny post to attack that safety coming down. Again, you can run a 4-vert play, but for us, 4 verts was never a shot play. 4 verts, if we ran that, we were trying to hit it right here, right in between the backer and the safety. It was a 10-yard hole shot. It was not a throw down the field forever. Obviously, these ones could be because they're outside guys, but when we ran 4 verts, it was to attack the seams, and it was a 10-yard hole shot. So, again, play action comes into that. What are you trying to attack? Are the safeties the ones coming down, or is it the backers the ones playing around? And then you just determine your pass concept based off of that. Which leads us into our last piece of the modern game, what we see now, RPOs. This is where all the confusion comes in, because when you sit there and you watch, like, well, wait, that looks like play action, but the commentator's saying RPO, or then he's saying RPO, but it looked like play action. So that's where the confusion comes in. And same thing with the triple option with the Veer. Everyone calls that an RPO. That's not an RPO. That's just spread triple option, especially what you see out of here. They're, oh, that's run pass option. Well, he does have the option to run or pass it, but it's triple option because he's reading the dive read, then he's reading the pitch read. So it's not quite a true RPO. True PR, either he's going to run it or he's going to pass it based on a read. And you can, again, similar to your play action, who are you reading and why? So again, as you go down to it, an RPO is a post-snap decision where the QB chooses to either hand the ball off or throw a quick pass. Play action, he doesn't have that option. We are telling him the zone's being vacated and he's going to throw it. So it's based on a specific defender's reaction. How that's going to work is at the snap, offensive line is going to block their run. QB reads a conflict defender, usually a linebacker or a safety. And then if the defender commits to the run, throw the ball. If he drops into coverage, hand it off. Pretty easy, pretty simple. Key differences from play action equals a fake, then a throw, no real-time read. RPO, real run game is happening, and QB makes the decision during the play. The structure of all of it is what matters the most as far as how you're going to do it. So, again, let's just kind of bring some people down inside here. Like, let's just say this guy's vacating a lot. So, say, for example, you want to read him. Okay, fine. We do what we call a win route, which is where he just replaces him. It's kind of like an OTB, but not an OTB because he's not quite getting over the ball. But in any case, like, let's just say we call it a win route. So he's going to replace him, right? Well, as we run our zone play, which for us would be like where we just run a kick play. So he's going to kick him out. And then these two are going to work up to next level here. So now we're going to read him. Okay. If he comes down hard to take on the tailback, so if he vacates hard to come down, quarterback's going to pull it and throw it. If he stays, then we're going to run the ball. So what does that tell your running back? Well, if he gets the ball, that means the backside inside linebacker vacated with the pass concept. If he doesn't get the ball, that tells him that the passing window was open. So the running back needs to also understand that as well. Like that's a key for him knowing what we're reading, because if he gets the ball, hey, there's nobody to the backside, I can hug this wall a little bit more, or I can attack to the outside edge because I can just follow the center and read off his block to the Mike linebacker, and then I can take off. So that's one of the other little key pieces there, is that it tells the tailback where to run. If, like I said, if that will vacates because he saw that there was a passing route, then your tailback can literally hug the center's block and then cut off of it in either direction based on that block. So, but if he doesn't get the ball, then he can continue on his path, because then that means he's coming downside, he's probably going to get hit, and then we're going to throw it right behind him. And then you say, well, what about this backside inside linebacker? Well, then again, you can have a little squeeze in there, or a hitch. You can have anything you want on that regard. So we run a little squeeze in to kind of account for that. So what does that mean? So it's a little 5-yard in route. So if for whatever reason that's taken off, he bails down inside, then all of a sudden he sees the backer late. Well, now he can work the wind to the squeeze. Again, still a quick throw. Am I worried about linemen downfield? No. Haven't been called for it yet. I actually got called for it on a screen last year than I did on an RPO. So it's one of those things where you don't necessarily have to worry about it until you have to worry about it. But again, there's little things you can add in to account for certain aspects. Now, again, a lot of the times if we were going to run this, it's because we were getting that safety was a little bit more off. They were playing us more in like a too high look. So that makes more sense. Now he comes down hard inside. Well, now you can read him instead of the will. So what does that look like? Again, you could do a slant out. So you could do a slant and a hitch right there and read the backer now. And again, if the backer comes down hard inside, throw the out route. The backer sits, if the backer comes down hard inside, throw the slant. If the backer sits and backs off to the slant, throw the arrow route. Again, it's all based on what you're trying to accomplish with this. But again, that's also accounting for knowing that if it's cover 3, then that corner is going to bail off. If it's not cover 3, not the best. If they're playing like a hard kind of cover 2 or some kind of man, not going to be the best. So again, the RPO is all predicated on finding somebody to read, putting somebody in conflict, and taking advantage of that. So again, same thing here. If you get this safety playing down hard inside and you want to run the glance route, the glance or the safety, whatever you want to call it. So you can run an out route here, and then again, you can have a little glance route there. He comes down hard inside, throw it. Now, if he bails off, again, you could flatten it out. He could flatten it. Like say he just bails back to 10 to 12, he could bail back and just come across and sit. Or if he comes up, then your quarterback can hit him over the top. So again, you can run the little glance route as well if you want to read the post route off of your run plays. And basic RPOs, like I said, quick throws, slants, hitches, bubbles. Bubbles are always used a lot of the time. I feel like bubbles are kind of overused now, but those are going to be your basic ones. The glance is a fun one. They're all timing based. Often one read. You're not going to have enough time to really read two. So again, if that will's playing down and the backer comes out, now you got to change your RPO and read a different guy. So again, you just got to adjust based on what the defense is giving you. That's kind of the other thing I look at with your Veer triple option and your RPO. They have a similar philosophy as far as you're taking what the defense gives you. He dives, take it, read pitch. He comes, throw the pitch. You're taking what the defense gives you. It's the same thing out of an RPO or a conflict player. He backs off. That tells the tailback, well, if I got the ball, that means the safety vacated. Follow my blocks. I'm going to have a nice read. He comes down. He pulls it. Oh, that means the safety came down. There was 8 guys in the box. We threw the post route. So you're taking what the defense gives you based on how they react to the run play. Big high school coaching points, keep the reads simple. Pick one defender, find the guy throughout the week. Who do you think you could take advantage of? Or just have, 2 or 3. Have a safety one, have an outside backer one, an inside backer one. Those are your RPOs. So maybe your inside backer one is the win route. Maybe your outside backer one is the bubble. And maybe your safety one is the glance. So you have the bubble to attack the outside backer. So you have the glance route to attack a safety, and you have your win route to attack an inside backer. All of those can be run off of different run plays. I will say for us, a big thing, the win route was huge for us again against in our counter game because again, you get the pulling guards, you get this guy pulling, he's reading pull, he instantly vacates, and there it is. So again, putting these together with things that take advantage of the defense is phenomenal. Again, you can play games with it, play with formations, play with shifts, get guys where you want, but ultimately the quarterback knows if it is X, Y, and Z play, I'm reading a safety, I'm reading an outside backer, or I'm reading an inside backer. You can try to read a corner if you want. I like to use corners as our access throws. So if we're running the ball to the right, this is going to be an access throw. This could be just a simple drop pop, a little hitch thing, depending on if he's playing off. If he likes it, he takes it. If he's playing on press, he gives them a little signal. Maybe he gives them like a helmet tap or whatever, and then he's running a go route, and we take advantage of that. So again, I like to use the front side of the run game as our access throw. Backside is going to be our RPO game. Common mistakes, downfield lineman, legal man downfield. I haven't had that called on us in the years that either I've been in OC or the years that we've been trying to run RPOs. QB holding the ball too long, maybe he made the wrong read, or overcomplicating the reads. Did you make it super complicated because you said, well, if it's here, throw that. If it's there, throw that. Did you add too much to it? And then again, perfect times to use it. Aggressive linebackers and aggressive safeties. Use the RPOs to read against them to get easy completions and to keep numbers balanced as best you can. So key differences, breakdowns. Just kind of wrap things up here in a nice little bow. Veer triple option is going to be run first, multiple ball carriers, reads happen in sequence, physical discipline system. Play action, pass first, disguises a run, predetermined throw, relies on deception of your run game, has big play potential. You can easily throw the ball over the safeties, take the roof off, and get a big play. RPO, hybrid run pass. It's a post snap read, quick decisions, and it puts one player in conflict. The simplest way to explain it is like this: Veer, who should run the ball? Play action, we're throwing, but let's trick them. RPO, I'll decide runner pass based on that guy. So that really narrows down your key differences for you on that. If you're a high school coach, don't try to do all three equally. Pick your identity. We sprinkle in a little bit here and there, but we're a big Veer triple option, spread triple option team. We sprinkle in some RPO and we sprinkle in a little play action when we feel like we can. But I would say it's Veer triple option first, and then we sprinkle in some RPO and then a little play action. So pick your identity. So option teams, you're going to build around Veer, sprinkle in play action. Spread teams, build around RPO, use play action for explosive. And balance teams are going to use all three situationally. We kind of fit into that use all three situationally. Now, our bread and butter, our one play that we hang our hat on is our Veer play. So, but we run it at a spread. So that's why, again, we kind of use the spread Veer triple option as our number one. We sprinkle in the RPO, and then we sprinkle in a little play action. And I would say it literally goes 1, 2, 3 on that. So as far as final coaching advice, obviously don't install plays. We want to install concepts. You might find a play that you really like that gets a guy open that you're like, man, this play looked really awesome on Saturday or Sunday. But who are you giving the ball to when you run that play? Football's about players, not plays. So find your concepts that fit your players and then rep the QB decisions daily. Make it simple for your players and stressful for the defense. You can dress it up with motions, shifts, trades. We talked about all that in the previous one. So go back and listen to that, check some of that out. But you can go back and sprinkle in all that. At the end of the day, coaches, football isn't about having the most plays. It's about having the right answers. The Veer, play action, and RPO are all answers just to different problems. You want to control the run game, go Veer. You want to have an explosive play, run play action. You want to stay efficient and give your quarterback an if then what, give him an RPO. Master one, build off of it, and coach it with clarity. So just kind of keep those in mind. And that is a wrap on another episode of West Coast Gridiron. If you're loving the show, make sure to subscribe, share it with your football circle, and keep supporting these young athletes chasing greatness every Friday night. Remember, out here, it's more than a game. It's a proving ground. We'll be back next time with more stories, breakdowns, and more of the best high school football you're going to find anywhere. Until then, stay disciplined, stay hungry, and keep your eyes on the gridiron. I've been your host, Coach Freeman.